meeting comes at an opportune time as we emphasize the importance of health and safety in general and TB interventions for the mining sector in the 10 countries in the region.
There's no doubt that the rate of TB prevalence amongst miners in this region is one of the highest in the world, actually the highest in the world, so 7,000 per 100,000, and that it's 10 times more than the communities from which these miners migrate. It has to be having a bottom line impact on profits of companies in terms of lost work days. It has to be having an impact on both local communities and the communities from where miners are from. And therefore it's a problem that I think there is widespread interest amongst many stakeholders to try and solve.
The World Bank recognizes that TB control is a major public health and economic development priority for Southern Africa, and indeed for the world, and must be tackled forcefully.
This meeting has been called Smart Investments because we are here to explore ways of investing the limited resources available to address the occupational and public health challenges, hence SMART.
Funding from governments and development partners have produced a wealth of evidence in the Southern Africa region, guiding us forward as we venture further in the areas of developing occupational health policy and legislation, scaling up occupational health service delivery, applying new information technology, and developing regional health information management systems, just to mention a few.
The broader challenge, however, that we face is that making progress in our own houses and in our own homes is not good enough in the face of many things around us burning.
All countries make reference to the importance of dust control in their legislation, but it is very general and very flu. So there are no clear instructions how systems have to be set up, how dust must be measured, how data are to be reported.
If we look at the small-scale mining operations generally, we do know that there has been a significant focus both on the environmental and the socio-economic impacts of small-scale mining, of artisanal and small-scale mining. And certainly some of the issues associated with it have been well recognised. If we look at the health impacts in terms of substance abuse, alcoholism, those type of things, they're no different to some of the impacts on the larger mining. But we have had limited research that has been directed at specifically the occupational health and safety issues of the sector, particularly relating to what happens on the mine site.
There's a lot of discussion regarding how do you share health data across different geographical borders. This is a big issue and that requires engagement with policymakers across the various countries because health information is proprietary information and is protected information.
So most of the countries have not ratified the relevant ILO conventions protecting the health of the workforces in their countries yet.
For long, the mining affected communities, which are the miners, the ex-miners, their families, the community that they come from and the community they live in, they have been left behind.
I think we should talk about health and safety and occupational safety in mining, but we must draw the line. We must be quite clear whose responsibility is it anyway to provide the citizens of any country with health.
The primary role of public health rests with the government, but the government can't do it alone. So there is a need for a strategy or the model to bring the three people on table, discuss this at the beginning, so that when the strategy comes out, it will be sustainable and will be owned by the people.
We know that the footprint of mining will always be there. But if we work as a collective civil society, government and business, we could actually mitigate some of those things so that we ensure that we have as minimum as possible the impacts that we are having does not affect negatively on the community that resides on.
So what next? It's important that we all come together, we deliberate, we discuss, and we go home. But for TB in the mines, this has not been the practice.
It is time to go back home. And when we go back home, we need to engage. And most importantly, we need to act. So my parting words is action, action, action. Because if we do not act, everything else will stay in this room and will die in this room. Thank you.